Hi everybody, I'm Shawn with Shawn Warren Fine Art and Painting with Peeps, and today I'm going to show you how to do this snowman Christmas card. I'm going to be using this Strathmore cold press watercolor paper. It's just pad paper. It's 140 pound and it's 9 by 12 size. I don't really care for it for watercolor, but it works great for these little cards. So I went ahead and I trimmed out an A4 size card, and then I have a tool. This tool is called a bone, and I'm going to use it to put the crease in the card. All right. And you can get this tool at art supply stores or at places where you can do bookbinding or places that sell graphic art materials. Okay, so it makes it very easy to fold it, and it looks like my fold is a little bit off. It's not exactly square on here, so I'm going to trim that out a little bit with my X-Acto knife. I'm gonna get them trimmed at the printer before I do a whole lot of them, so I don't have to hand trim every one of them, and I know that my trims will be straight. So I'm just going to trim this up, even it up. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so I'm using several stamps. The stamp that I'll be using on the front is a block stamp, wooden block stamp of 3 little snowmen. And then I have a separate block that says Merry Christmas. And then this says it's the most wonderful time of year, and this goes on the inside. And then I have a stamp that goes on the back of the card that says Handmade with Love. And I'm using Stays On Timber Brown solvent ink. And this ink won't smear once it's dry, and it dries really fast. Once it's dry, it won't smear. I'm also using Artist Loft watercolor pencils, and I have a brush tip and a fine tip. And then I'm using Wink of Stella brush, and this is a glitter brush. Okay, so first I'm going to stamp the little snowman on the front. I like the brown color. I think the black is too dark, and the brown is a nice neutral color. Get it nice and wet. Make sure you stamp it up really thoroughly. So then I'm going to lift straight up, and it did skip a little bit in here. I'm going to do another one because I'll save that one and go over it with my micron pen, but I want a nice crisp one. And if that happens, if you have skips, don't throw it away. Just go over that with a micron pen or another kind of permanent marker. Okay, I'm going to stand up and do it this time. Let me get it straight here, and then I'm going to stand up and press down a little more evenly. Okay. So I'm trying to put even pressure on the whole stamp. Okay, I think that's good. Ready? Here we go. Yes, looks great. Okay. So now I'm going to put the Merry Christmas in. I didn't do my fold on here. Let me do my fold on there real quick, because I need to see that fold so that I can line my Merry Christmas up there in the right spot. And again, my trim is a little bit off on here, but I will fix that later. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. So let me put my Merry Christmas on there. Okay, and I'm going to line the top of the wood up with the top of the fold and try to center it as best I can. Okay. Oh, please don't move. Perfect. Okay, that looks great. Now I'm going to do the roundy corners on it. I have a little tool for that too. So you just put it in there and punch down like a paper punch, like a hole punch. I think the round corners just give it a little bit of extra specialness. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to do this stamp on the back. And this one I'm just trying to center it as best I can in the middle. And it's handmade, so if it's a little bit off, it's no worries. I think it makes it all the more special if, you know, it has little imperfections in it. Trying to push it down evenly. Okay, ready? Here we go. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to wait to do the inside till I'm finished with the whole card, and then I'm going to do the inside. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to do some watercolor splatters, and I'm using French Ultramarine, Cotman brand, and I've just put it in the pan, and I'm going to get it wet with my toothbrush. And you don't want it super, super runny. And I have a little scrap paper here that I'm going to test it on before I put it in my paper to make sure that the sprinkles aren't too big. And you just hold it up like this and use your brush, just run your thumb over the brush. And the shorter the thumb strokes, the shorter your thumb strokes, the finer it'll be. If you take a long thumb stroke like this, a long one, you'll make bigger splotches. So I like to have those smaller splotches. And I'm just going to take a paper towel and kind of hold it over the area that I don't want to get splotched. Oh, we got to cover the back side too, almost forgot. I got to cover the back. Okay. And this makes the snowflakes. And if you do happen to get a few snowflakes on your snowman, just take a damp paper towel and just a real almost dry, but just barely damp, and just kind of dab it. You don't want to rub it because that'll smear it. Okay, so we got my splatters on there, and now I'm just going to take the blow dryer and blow it real quick to make sure that it's really dry. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, that's nice and dry. So now comes the fun part. So I'm going to color the card now. I have a little swatch, a little paper for swatching. Some of these markers are not the same color. The lid is one color and the marker is really a different color. So I always like to test them out first, especially if it's a new set. So I'm just going to color this with, this is yellow ochre, I think. more times you go over it, the darker it will get, and that's one way that you can put your shading in. And then I'm going to use a little, let's see, a little darker orange color. Let's see. No, take that back. I'm going to use the orange one right here. This is the highlight where the little sled comes, the light hits it right here. So I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to put that yellow ochre over it and blend it in. And I think I'll go over it with a little darker brown. That brown's pretty dark. I'm going to put in the little rail with the darker brown. And then just a tad of this darker brown here. And then I'm going to blend it out with the lighter brown. And I'm going to take a little bit of that brown too and put a little bit of a shadow under here. And then blend it out with the lighter brown. Okay, that looks good to me. And I want them all to have a little orange carrot nose. And then this first guy, I'm going to do a blue hat on my first guy. And I'm going to take some orange. Orange is a complementary color to blue, and this is actually like the lighter brown. Let's do, this is the yellow ochre. So that will actually add a shadow to this. If you put a complementary color, and complementary means that on the color wheel, they're opposite each other on the color wheel. So the complement to blue is orange. So that yellow ochre I used was kind of an orangey blue. I'm sorry, it was kind of a darky earthy yellow, so that's not quite as dark as I like. So I'm going to use the darker orangey brown color. Oh yeah, see how that's much darker. So whenever you want to do a shadow on blue, you can put a little bit of orange on it. And then since I'm using orange as a shadow color, I'm going to go ahead and put orange in the hat as well. I have a little bit of blue on there still. So I'm going to put a little bit of that orangey brown color. I think it's kind of like a burnt sienna. Okay, and then let's do, I don't want to do too much of that brownie color in here because I don't want him to blend in with the sled. So let's give him a nice bright blue sweater. So for the next few weeks, I'll be showing you some crafts. I don't usually do a lot of craft videos, but I'm going to be selling in a craft show in the middle of November. So I figured I would just show you how I'm doing some of the crafts. So I'll be showing you some cigar boxes. I take the cigar boxes in, I repurpose those, I paint them and decorate them. And I did a video last week showing how I do marbling. So I'll do some follow-up videos for that. Okay, so let's put I would like him to have a little bit of orange on his cuffs, a little orange sweater or scarf. And mittens. What color mittens? I think this blue needs to be blended a little more. Just a smidge. Okay, and then let's do some dark blue mittens. I don't know which one of these blues I like, so let's try it out. They're about the same. And I've mixed the lids up too, so who knows? So we give him some little blue mittens. All right. Okay, the next guy, I'm going to do him in like a red and yellow, so I want his hat to be really bright red. That'll work. And then I want his sweater to be red too. So I think I've got a rubber stamp addiction. I started doing stamping not that long ago, and it's so fun because I like to color them. I don't like color books because I don't like the type of paper, and I like to display my work. Let's see, what color should he have? Let's do a darker, let's see if it'll darken the red up. Nope. Here, this is a dark red. So I don't like color books because of the paper quality. I'd rather use watercolor paper. Okay, I'm going to use blue. And since it's got the red underneath, it's going to be real dark blue, so that'll be all right though. And then let's do blue for his little hat too. I was going to do red and yellow, but I think I'm going with the blue theme. Okay, and then his cuffs, let's make his cuffs yellow. And his scarf can be yellow too. That's cute. And then let's do his mittens a little bit yellow orange. So I'm going to put down some yellow first and then put a little orange on top. That'll work. Actually, I want it to be a little darker. I don't want it to look like the other guy's scarf. Okay, that'll work. Okay, the next guy, I'm going to do green, like a really bright green. These don't take very long. I can usually do one of these in about 15 minutes, so. And I like, with rubber stamps too, you can combine different stamps, you know, to make your own design. So he's going to get a yellow top of his hat, a yellow pom-pom, and then I'm just going to do his whole scarf yellow, and then I'm going to go over it in a darker color and put the stripes in. It's easier to do it this way than to try to do each individual stripe. Okay, and then I'm going to give him some darker green stripes. Let's see. Trying to keep my hand out of the way. I have to keep reminding myself to keep my hand out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I did miss something. He needs mittens. So let's do his mittens in yellow. And let's do the cuff in a darker green. Okay, that looks good. I don't think I've missed anything. All right, now comes this part I really like. So you want to give your glitter brush a good shake. It's got a little ball in there that'll shake it up. And then you really don't need to squeeze it. It pretty much, I had a hard time getting it started the first time, but once I got it started, it pretty much just comes out on its own. So I'm going to paint all of the snowmen, the snowy part. I'm going to do that in glitter. So I live in Denver, and we had our first freeze today. It got down into the 30s last night. Hasn't snowed yet. Okay, then I'm going to do some of the little snow down here, just kind of loosely go over it with my glitter pen. And then I'm just going to put some little dots up here. I don't want to put too much sparkle in the snowflakes in the sky, because I don't want to take away from the snowman. I want them to be the main focus. But I'll put a few little glitters in here. I like that. Okay. So I like to put a little bit of color on the little ribbon in the back, and I think I'll make that green. Is that the lightest green I have? Yeah, it is. I don't like to color the whole thing, but just put a little color, a little pop of color on the back. And then I sign my name. And then I'll put the little stamp on the inside now. That should be dry. Yeah, it's dry. Okay, this one you just have to eyeball. And I'm going to stand up on here again just so I get a good impression. I don't want to put all that work into my card and then mess it up at the end, so. Okay, ready? Here we go. Perfect. And there you go. All finished. And there we go, all finished. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.